So, Ahmaud Arbery. That happened. So for those of you who don't know what actually happened, I'm going to summarize it real quick, because if you've lived in the United States of America and been socially aware for any length of time, you are actually getting bored of stories of black men getting lynched for absolutely no reason and the subsequent media shitstorm. The basic gist of what happened is Ahmaud Arbery was a black guy. Step one, he was outside. Step two, and there were white people next to him. Step three. There were some good old boys who apparently saw that a gun had been stolen from their household and went around looking for a darkie. That's what they did. That's what they did. That's not really a joke. They saw that something had been stolen from their property, so they drove around on a truck and they found themselves a black guy who was outside. They flanked him and menacingly closed in, at which point Arbery attempted to not die and failed as he was shot. So, that happened. It was a lynching. He was killed for literally no reason. There was no evidence whatsoever tying Ahmaud Arbery to the theft. Not that if there was any theft, that would justify killing him. And what's more, the men responsible for murdering him on camera, because 3 of them were there, 2 participated in the murder, and one of them who was, the gun was taken a month prior to the shooting. Yeah, they literally just wanted to find a black person. And a third person who videotaped the murder, even though that evidence was submitted to the police right after, they were not arrested until there was a public outcry. If that video wasn't made public, it's entirely likely that these men who were caught on full video murdering someone for no justification would not have been arrested. The father is a former police officer. Police stations are essentially gang precincts. Police are gangs. They will protect each other to their dying breaths. They don't care about justice or upholding the peace. They only care about protecting themselves. So there you go. That's some legit ACAB shit right there. Anyway, so this is an unbelievably, so there's literally, like, they literally just murdered a black guy. Like if I went outside right now and I found like a little kid and I just shot that kid for no reason and then went back inside and videotaped it too, that's about the level of justification that we're talking about when we're talking about what happened to Ahmaud Arbery. I could videotape, imagine me like videotaping, like me walking up to like a little girl or something and like shooting her and walking off, and that gets submitted to the police and the police are like, and it's only later that I get arrested for it. Yeah, well, the real fun, now mind you, the real fun here isn't actually the murder, okay? That's just the preempt. The real fun is watching conservatives justify the murder, even if it's undeniably indefensible. Now, I'm showing here Timcast. I know for a fact that similar videos have been made by Sargon of Akkad, by Actual Justice Warrior, by the Liberty Hangout, and by basically every conservative platform available. The purpose of these videos is to justify the murder of Ahmaud Arbery. Listen to this.
Breaking news in the Ahmaud Arbery case.
News.
New video footage has emerged showing Arbery was entering this property on multiple occasions at night. Now, the footage that was released by WSAV3 shows potentially 2 separate instances, 3 or maybe even 4 separate instances, where Arbery was entering this property at night.
The evidence presented? There is evidence that up to 4 times Ahmaud Arbery entered an abandoned in-construction house. That is what is being talked about over the course of this 21-minute video. 21-minute video. And that's what happened. That's it. That's it. That's the only thing. That's it. He entered a house under construction up to 4 times. What does this have to do with the case? He said, what was that he opened with?
We have major breaking news in the Ahmaud Arbery case.
No, you don't. This has nothing to do with the case. At all. What are the comments saying? It's obvious the video cameras are racist. CNN headline, aspiring construction worker murdered by white nationalists while trying to feed his kids. The so-called out jogging is the new hands up, don't shoot lie. So, because he entered a house at some point at night, that means he was dying. What? Apparently, Tim says, I'm not accusing of anything, but then says it's clear the dude had malicious intent. That means he was casing the house. You don't case houses that haven't been finished built. You don't case houses that haven't been built yet. What the fuck is the point of case? You can't. Guys, if you want to, you can literally find entire fucking YouTube channels dedicated to white people exploring abandoned property. It is an entire genre. Literally, I've done it. I've done it. I've gone into abandoned and in construction houses while I was bored. Yeah. You kidding me? It's a whole thing. Some people have YouTube videos, they take videos and they're like, oh, isn't that cool? Oh, isn't that cool? A ton of people have done this. It's called urban exploration. It's done all the fucking time. But people are acting like this means, like this guarantees that he was doing a fucking robbery. While the media fixates on this, they ignore the jogger that killed 2 elderly white people with a scoped rifle over the weekend. Another black guy did a murder. Why are people talking about this lynching? What? Tim, clearly he's jogging through these homes, nothing more. This must be bait. His name is literally armed robbery. He was just jogging into your back garden, stealing yo kids. It's just racism. Like, it's literally just they like it when black people are murdered. That's literally it. That's the entire story right here. You can see similar things all across the conservative sphere. All of them are making videos like this. This is the most cut and dry lynching in modern history. This is literally just a black man being shot with no evidence that he was engaging in any crime and video evidence that he was not. If there wasn't video evidence, all these videos would be about how we can't reasonably expect that the unarmed man who was just out for a jog and had no weapons on him could have possibly not been a threat to the men who were carrying guns in the back of a pickup truck. That's what would have happened if there wasn't video footage. But because there's video, see, that's the lie. That's the lie that they engage in, okay? The grift they engage in is with stuff like Trayvon Martin and George Zimmerman. Well, we don't really know. We didn't see what happened. We can't understand what happened. All we know is that George Zimmerman claimed that he was attacked by Trayvon Martin. Convenient, Trayvon Martin being dead, doesn't get to provide his own testimony. So yeah, the ambiguity here, we don't really know. We just know one of them had a gun, one of them didn't, and the person who was chasing the black boy ended up doing the killing. We don't know what led to this. But here we have a video. I'm not going to watch the video on stream. We have a video now of a lynching. Just a video. It just happened. And there's no justification. No piece of evidence anywhere across the entirety of the world that anything he did justifies death. And they're justifying it anyway. And the reason why is because people like Tim Pool, people like Liberty Hangout, people like Sargon of Akkad, people like all these motherfuckers like it when black men are murdered. That is it. That's literally the end of it. We need to put an end to this preconceived, this facade of justification behind the ambiguity in these cases. When we have situations like Eric Garner, when we have situations like Trayvon Martin, when we have situations like Ahmaud Arbery, Molyneux did his video too. There's always this big discourse like, oh, to what extent did the police act too far? What did the black guy deserve it? The real reason is this: the people who are defending it like the idea of black men being murdered. That's it. That's it. That's the beginning and the end of it. That's 100% it. There was no other reason why, when you have video evidence of a person being murdered impromptu, you believe that this is breaking news, that he did something that people do all the time. That isn't, I guess it's a crime. I don't fucking care if it's a crime. Do you think this deserves, like, death? Do you think this warrants death? This thing I've done? I bet you've done this, Tim Pool. I bet you anything that you've done this too. Yeah, it's not even a crime. It's a fucking misdemeanor. What they want is for black men to be scared. That's what they want. That is their ideal world. They don't want all black men dead. At least not all of them. People like Stefan Molyneux probably do. The Liberty Hangout people probably do. Tim Pool might. I've always believed very strongly that Tim Pool is alt-right. Yeah, but what they do want is for black people who step out of line to be killed. What they essentially want is for there to be no justification for a black man to feel like bad about their own murder. That's essentially it. They don't want there to ever be any condemnation of white men who kill black men. That's it. That's their ultimate goal. So even in instances where it is indefensible, they will still defend it because it's a principle thing to them. It's not about upholding justice. It's not even about having an implicit bias. They just like it when these people die. That is it. He even did another video on it.
Expected. New evidence has emerged in the Ahmaud Arbery case, which is countering. The young man was casing the house for a future burglary. However, ABC News revealed that the man who was entering the...
You know what the new breaking news is? The new breaking news is that it might not have even been Arbery who went onto those construction sites. Just know that when we talk about opposing people like Tim Pool or opposing people like Stefan Molyneux or opposing people like what is now apparently called Catholic Hangout or any of that shit, we're not doing it out of some vague, abstract political war. We're doing it because these people are pro-murder. Tim Pool is pro-murder. If Tim Pool was in charge of society in any meaningful way, it would mean the deaths of many, many people. Because people like him are deliberately pushing for a worldview and a political superstructure that implicitly endorses the lynching of black men. They are murderers, as far as I'm concerned. That's it. It's open and shut to me. In an instance where there is no justification for a murder and you defend it anyway, now, I should be perfectly clear here. Tim Pool hasn't actually defended the murder. He's just for some reason made a fuck ton of tweets and put a fuck ton of effort into doing videos in which he says that Ahmaud Arbery did a bunch of spooky shit, apparently, allegedly, and maybe not even at some point before the murder that wasn't even tied to the murder, and then called it breaking news about the Ahmaud Arbery case. You know that he was no angel? That here's a black kid who was shot and we found a picture of him smoking weed 2 years ago? We all know what they do. We all know what they like doing. They're pro-murder. So yeah, they are in favor of it. This is something that they enjoy. I don't know if for Tim Pool it's a sexual thing. I would be willing to bet that for Stefan Molyneux it's a sexual thing. I'd be willing to bet that. So yeah, but if you ever want to talk about this with anything else, here's a great question to ask, okay? Here's what you should talk about. It doesn't matter whether he was jogging. It doesn't matter whether he entered others' homes. It doesn't matter whatever the fuck he did. If you dig through any person's past, you're always going to be able to find things that will look bad if framed in the worst way by a bunch of racist bad faith actors. Did he do anything that deserved death? Did he or did he not? The answer to this is no. None of these people cover that actual question because if they did, they would have to reveal the fact that they aren't interested in actually talking about whether or not his death was just, only in implying that it was. So yeah, fuck these people. Racist isn't even a strong enough word to describe them. All of us, I imagine, have some implicit racial biases. This is pro-murder. These people endorse implicitly murder. I would have no problem if any bad thing. There is no limit in my mind to the extent to which like Tim Pool and the people like him would be comfortable with inflicting harm on like racial minorities in this country. If you're willing to stoop to this length, if you're so subhuman, if you're so degenerate that you're willing to cowardly stand behind breaking news where you talk about fucking visiting construction sites, implicitly endorsing his murder, then I don't think you would deserve any charitability for the rest of your life. Ever, under any circumstances. And I hope Tim Pool gets obliterated by the lawsuit that's apparently happening at the hands of his brother. I know Sargon's channel is dying. Catholic Hangout is probably going to kill itself within a few years when it inevitably goes full mask-off Nazi and gets banned. And without the attention that it wants so badly, it has no choice but to end its life and hope to be embraced by the arms of Jesus Christ, only to fall into oblivion for the rest of time. So, yeah,